All right, what's up, fight fans? It's Lloyd with Long Story Short. All right, I just got the notification on my phone that Whittaker and Costa, it's finalizing. They are going to be fighting on April 17th. I'm stoked. I've been saying this fight should have happened like last year, hands down. It probably should have happened before Adesanya fought Paulo Costa. This is the fight to happen. So a lot of people, as I'm sure you guys know, as fans, are gonna say he's just coming off a loss with Adesanya, so he should probably fight maybe a top 5 guy. I'm personally thinking, or I was thinking, Vettori, especially when Vettori called him out when he said Borishina after he beat Hermanson. I'm like, okay, that's the fight to happen. That's gonna be a brawl, all right? But from following Paulo Costa's YouTube channel and seeing that an article stating that his manager, I can't think of his name, was nagging Dana White to put this fight together. And then Dana even said he likes the idea of that fight. So it took a while, and I was like, okay, so since it's taken so long, more than likely the fight's not going to happen. I kind of lost hope for a second. And I wasn't sure what was going on with Paulo Costa. I mean, on his YouTube channels, I see him cooking, I see him training here and there. I'm like, I don't know what this guy's doing. Maybe he's going to go and rebuild himself like Brian Ortega and then come back a beast. Now, my question is, if he beats Whittaker, that makes him the #1 guy. And if Adesanya loses against Yan, which I speculate he will, I'm going to make a whole nother video about that later on this week. But will we see Adesanya versus Costa 2? I think that would be a perfect opportunity. Adesanya loses his first fight, so he's now 20-1. And then we have Costa, who will be 14-1. That would be a great fight. That would be a great fight to happen, I'm thinking, toward the end of 2021. Get everyone hyped, right? Because if Adesanya loses against Yan, who else should he fight? Who else should get a middleweight title shot outside of Costa in the case that Costa beats Whittaker? Vettori? I would personally like to see Vettori versus maybe a Darren Till. Darren Till's been sitting out for a while. Actually, I can't even think when his last fight was. I believe he had a knee injury. So, I don't know. Darren Till's in the top 5, so he needs to do something to retain that spot, you know? So, I'd like to see Till versus Whittaker, but we're going to have to see how the fight between Costa and Whittaker goes. If Whittaker loses, I think to make a fight with him and Vettori would be perfect. Same thing with Costa. If Costa loses, Costa Vettori would be great. Everyone wants to see that fight. But a lot of it's going to depend on what happens with Adesanya versus Yan if he gets that heavyweight title. Because if he gets that heavyweight title, who's the next title defense going to be against? Is it going to be Glover, right? Is it going to be as a middleweight? Is he going to go directly back down? What's going to happen? But I'm stoked. I'm stoked. And I'm a Costa fan. I did not think Costa was going to beat Israel, but I thought he was going to challenge the hell out of him. I thought he was going to go to Israel by likely a decision. Sort of how the fight went with Vettori and Israel. I didn't think it was going to be, I figured it would either be a split or unanimous for Israel, you know. But Israel got in and got it done, so kudos to him. But I think if Costa beats Whittaker, and if he prepares to fight Adesanya a second time, that's going to be a hell of a fight. He's not going to underestimate Adesanya, and he's not going to let his emotions crowd him, which is what he did in the first fight, as well as played around. Why he did that, I have no idea. You only do that when you're winning, and he was doing nothing. But Adesanya, if you watch that fight, Adesanya wasn't playing any games. Before he beat Costa, he was serious. When Bruce Buffer was announcing him like the style bender, look at it. Look at Adesanya's face. He's serious. I'm not saying he was scared, but he didn't want to take any time playing with Costa because he knew Costa had that power that could possibly lay him out or hurt him. That's why he went straight in and dusted Costa's legs. If this happens again, if they fight again, Costa's going to be prepared for that. Costa's going to rush him. I think Costa's going to rush him. You know, if he gets beat the same time, if they have a rematch, well, excuse me, the same way, if they have a rematch, in the rematch, then Costa should just give up. But it's going to be a hell of a fight. Costa, Whittaker, April 17th. It's going to be dope. All right, you guys. Have a good one. Share, comment, subscribe, and talk to you guys later.